I just don't understand why they would glorify themselves, thinking that they're going to come back, and they are coming back. So we will be impressed. So let's continue on with this aspect of it, because you've got the Star of David, which we know is a symbol of Zion, but it's merging with this cleaver from Al-Sisi. See, Kushner's got this with the, call it what you want, the third temple igniting blood luge, and Al-Sisi's got this. He's schwacking as many humans as he can while ruining Europe with hand-to-hand madness for the women to just take it down. If you're there, self-quarantine and pretend nothing's going on. Put on nice music and relive World War II in your attic, because it's going to get crazy all over Europe. It is about to happen. So it's only temporary, but it's got to occur. And how many bombs are exhausted by NATO shooting each other up? You have Russia being, they got weapons to play in Russia that they've never really, the Russians play in the Ukraine and they're all around it now and this and that. They're kind of in the same club there on the dark side. So who goes and gets soul swapped? I mean, all I can say is Russia is communism and Abrahamic stuff is communism. So all this is of the same block that wants to bring death to humans. So the other thing that's left are the Nazi piece, the Aryans, and whether they want to trade out. Are they going to go do loop up at Mars? I mean, Trump's point of origin is Mars. I just suspect that I just don't know. I know that when they dehumanize, literally, when they take their body complex, they're going to exchange it. All bets are off as to what that means and what is going to be projected on this planet. That's what I'm trying to say. And so that's sort of a summary of, it's not a summary, it's fairly long, of the news that's coming. I tried to work down all the things, all the elements of eyes open and eyes closed. If they have an opportunity to rehook you into some nightmare from the past because you didn't take the proper path to get out, you were still babbling along and thinking you were okay and not having good dreams and whatever, still drinking, and then boom, you fell back. You're in the group that fell back to third density from on your way up to falling back down. Then your survival instincts kick in and you don't know what to do. And this is all coming. Just so you understand, please understand that this is going to happen in 2022. You've got your belt bandwidth love that I'm going to speak to. And then everybody that's dropping back down to a version of distorted normal that's going to be crushed. Absolutely unprecedentedly crushed because you wanted it. So when your skin, when you want to, the term jump out of your skin, and restless leg becomes restless body, and they got a pill for that, you're lucky at that point. You've got good fortune if that's your problem, because they are just coming to decapitate and drink of draconian madness. And if they can get them all, they're just going to get what they can because they are motivated in that direction from an eternal source up in Mars. So this wasn't something that was cooked up when they stitched together a few grays and dumped them in some robots or whatever. This is essence of when that Maldek Mars coalition came and rendezvoused up. This, the negative energy, is coming to Gaia. And we're on the planet. So I'm going to refer to that. I'm going to keep talking through this to be completed with it. So it's going to take another 10 minutes, I hope. So that was all bad. Now, just because it needs to be said, we, as a collective, are waking up to, hey, people are being born in that are just divine feminine, taking it away. They have a mission. Kim Gogwin had a DNA mission to just take the money away. I still believe it. You know, Suzanne Spooner, 2011, she basically got the guidance to like, hey, go fix everything. So she's what you would call a divine grid programmer, which is, you know what you're supposed to do and you're just going to bring new earth. So she's like an early bird, fourth density early bird, first waver. Just because she is. You know, she does talk. And she's all like way. I mean, she knows. Meanwhile, here's me. Over here, I'm talk. And I don't know what she knows. But I got woken up. And so when I went to QHHT, I was being Mr. Audacity. You know, I wasn't audacious about anything. I just said, excuse me, what's going on in the brain with this thing you're explaining? And she told me about Matt Schmidt, but I'm making a joke here about my level of awakenedness. And the joke is, hey, what she probably heard when I said, hey, what's going on with the brain when you have a session? She said, oh, Matt Schmidt. And I explained that in previous videos. I'm just trying to give you an honest idea. Like, I thought that you could, like, during a QHHT session, take the detectors, place them on the scalp, and just manage electricities to see if the right side or the left side or if there's anything unusual. That was my question. At my wake up of, okay, what's happening? Now, since then, I'm happy to say, I got the 440, 432, all the glands that are in your brain, you know, the medulla oblongata and the pineal gland we know, the hypothalamus, all these things have sacred functions that were designed for your body. So it's beyond just a biology experiment of being dissected. It is sacred organs that when life is pushed through them, that's the trigger to fourth density awareness that we're wearing in this vessel. So it's a special vessel. So Suzanne, to get back to her, she of course had a session that you may not be aware of where Mary was there and the smell of roses was there, and she used the term befuddled about the situation because it's so easy. That's just how Suzanne is. So Mary has claimed the roses, and then Dolores Cannon. So that's what's good. This has nothing to do with this. Dolores Cannon didn't care about this. She was just hurt because she tried to help abductees, and the governed states gave her a problem. But she spoke to Suzanne on the other side of a QHHT session. Spiritually, she came in through the throat chakra of the client and spoke. And congratulated Suzanne about keeping her work up and continuing to do the good stuff that she's doing. So it just so happens that Dolores Cannon is very important. As Sam has told us, she's probably responsible for the first, when our Creator put out the, our Creator's in the receive mode, virtually waiting for the wake up. So that Orion can say, oh yes. And I believe Dolores Cannon spiritually coached all the planets in Andromeda so that when they woke up, she should be given credit for understanding that, because it was of her essence. She was probably experienced first density as a piece of crystal. I just think that's the case. And then she was admired by whoever picked her up and took good care of her. And then she went from there. So she had a predecessory angel who was responsible for her, maybe in a human format, who's got a name somewhere. But what's important now on this rotation is that she was led to Arkansas, and that's got the biggest. It just so happens. Well, gee, what a coincidence! So it's got the largest piece of crystal in the world, and it's protected. It got dislocated from Atlantis, and it's protected by the Syrians and the Arcturians, 6 miles under Earth, vicinity Little Rock, running northwest. So you're dealing with points of origin and lines of the Earth that are just mined with truth for us. And as we study it and we learn about it and we become an extension of it, we're going to live forever, because the refined perfection is going to be something that we resonate with, and it's something that we can come back to. So that's all over here, the crystalline stuff. And there's a clarion calling. This is me now. This isn't from Sam. This is my joke down here about my audacity, about just being a clown. And I happen to know that there's a Saint Hilariel, an archangel. And so, to me, if you can't have good humor and have a patron angel for humor, then where will you go? This is my plan ahead. Tom O'Connell, I hope he's still with us, from Birch Drug. Plan ahead. Of course you do. But you can make a circle somehow and come back to this point, which is just, so she's starting this way going up, and I'm woken up like way after her, and so, but Dolores is up here and speaking to Suzanne, and here comes Sam the Illusionist, and I figured out 9/11 because it was important to me, and I was led to her house, her area, because I was. And I didn't know it. Believe me, you just have to live the way I live, and then you throw it out there and you let Source just get you where you need to go. Trusting yourself, doing the right thing, listening, combination. And you get there because you're wishing for the best thing. You're being led by truth. So just let truth say, I want to know truth, please. When you go to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning, when you watch TV, see the lies. You shouldn't be watching it. Just look for truth. So let's get to my man, Sam. As far as soul tapestry goes, when you want to hear where people start from, I'll tell you what. Sam the Illusionist high self, the one that took his driver's seat to make life easy for him for forever. What a wise, how interesting to be thinking of this. And I don't want to get diverted to it. Sam began as a gaseous, so his first density awareness was phenomenal, and essentially traced to Venus and to another prophet of sacred forecast of Edgar Gacy-esque, who's a female. Jane Roberts, maybe? Because I didn't write the name down. I forgot. But Sam's got it in his database of a memory of all his videos. So here's what I'm describing here, just to get to the top of this thing, where we're going. This is 432 stuff coming out of Venus, and it's the women. And that's his orientation of divine feminine. It tells you straight up the way that it's going to be. He's not mad. He's not stomping his feet. He doesn't come across as wanting to fight everybody. He's just telling everybody. He loves everybody, and he wants everybody to know. So, at this place here now, your heart's working for you. Over here, your heart's shut down. Your heart fails you. They got you down here, and you get discombobulated with all these things. The music, they own it all. The 440. The 440 psyop is half the battle. In you. You're scared. Over here, no, there's no fear. This is a heart here. This is the 4th density trigger. This is 3rd density problems. We had this. We learned. We're in transition. Our heart's going up. So where's it going? From a density perspective. You know, I could talk about breathing prana and all these other things, but I want to talk about beings. So this is 4th density. Well, at 5th density, you still have issues because you got the Galactic Federation. You definitely have satanic stuff, and you have Ashtar. Okay, Saturn is a planet. Whatever happens with Mars is going to happen. There's a Council of 9 sitting on Saturn that needs to be clarified in the light. Not my decision. It may well be refined because some of those council members, you know, we don't need karma anymore. So there's a Lord of Karma that needs to check out and go somewhere else. And at that level, you've got the Galactic Federation and Ashtar. And people can decide about what's going on there with Ashtar. I left the H out of his name. Isn't that interesting? Human. It has an H in it. But I don't know about. I don't know, and I'm not going to judge. Only what I've heard come out of a Pleiadian starseed already. So to me, if she changes her story, go look for her. I'll put her on another video. But she's a woman who was confronted by Ashtar and Trump. And they scared the hell out of her. And Ashtar said, oh, it's fun to torture the humans. So we don't know. I just know what I heard. That's all. I know what I heard, and I heard the little Ashtar self-testimony. I don't know why I hear these things, but I picked up on one very you know, he will say he was born for a purpose, to do what he's doing, you know, and he's on his way. Sort of that, very odd, not a unity consciousness perspective, more or less a play-by-play guy. I'm over analyzing that character. So who knows what's going to whip around Mars and come back? Ashtar? I don't know. So above that level, this is 5th density now. You're up to 6D. You've still got Lucifer and light. Now it's GFL. It's light to a point where nobody's fighting anymore. And Yeshua is up past that, because he made it all the way back to Abun, multidimensionally. He owns everything. He got the keys from mommy, from making it back home. So the marriage from Sirius as a planetary system, and our Creator, who's past Orion, is made. And there are angelic beings that are so ascended, they're in places that you can't even pronounce the name of the galaxy, which is another thing that was reported. So there are densities of awareness out there that go a little bit past what we're looking at. And we have a lot of creation ahead of us. So the news is good. And I'm on a really long video here that is what it is. So people who want to watch it can watch it. I'm finished talking though. I think I've described what's coming at us, which was the main purpose of this. It's only going to be for a period. Let's say, you're dealing with, I don't know when Easter, I'll look on a calendar and find out when is Passover this year, because it might matter to the game planning. Certainly those holidays always matter for the reasons that they do. It's just that this upcoming season is the window. And if it's within this 90-day mad period of build-up, I'm not saying all, how can I put this? Hiroshima and Pearl Harbor won't be on January 16th. But it's coming in this window of progressive rules and control to apply force on fear. So that will manifest in a progressive, the boiling frog in the pot. But if you have love in your heart and you have no concern of your survival other than you were born of the Creator and you're cared for by your friends and fellows and you care for yourself, and it's all about the positive vibe at the 432, and it just happens that way because you're God and you know it, and so it does. But if you don't, then you're in poverty, and this is it from top to bottom. So I'm trying to explain it that way. If you have any questions, if you have questions, then meditate on them and find out. Is he crazy? Is McCormick crazy? Meditate. Does he pretty much know, you think, what's coming? Maybe he doesn't have exact calendar dates, but he's painting a pretty compelling picture. And if people are going to say, hey, no way, I can't accept it, then you're allowed to do that. But you'll be overrunning. All right. Everybody have a good remainder of, what time is it here? I think I beat, yeah, it's still the 11th. Woo! Let me sign off. Oh, say, can you see? Yes, I can. I can. I can Burgess Meredith this thing. I'm on my way with glass accountability. I love everybody. I love myself. I love my life. I love my Creator. I love my body. I'm very thankful for you, for me, for everybody. Good night.